Now, speaking of the international community's condemnations, I would like to shed light on the United Nations role, in particular with Dr. Osama El-Saeed. Dr. Osama, what role will the UN play in Syria's transition process?
First, greetings to you and to all the viewers. In my estimate, the UN cannot be relied upon in such a crisis. The previous crisis in the Middle East has proven that the UN is a fragile organization that cannot play a much of a role in such crises. The same happened in Gaza Strip. More than a year of violations and crimes by the occupation forces, massacres and genocide, but yet the UN could not interfere, not politically and not even to improve the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip. So I don't think that the UN might have any role in the Syrian crisis, where different actors are interlacing against one another, and the interests are really complicated from the different parties, especially that the United Nations had an envoy for Syria for some 13 years, but he couldn't do anything, and no breakthrough was made in the crisis, and never managed to get to a solution that is good for everybody. In the end, the conflict was decided by the confrontation between the regime and the opposition. So the UN will not have a role, especially that many of the influential countries like the United States has got certain interests regarding the new status quo in Syria. The UN might play a humanitarian role, the UN might vitalize its humanitarian interventions, but yet I cannot say that the UN might have any political role or any comprehensive vision about Syria, because the final decision and the final thing about it is for the active parties that have got fighters on the ground and people on the ground, and the UN does not have such tools. So I believe the UN will only be limited to the humanitarian role if it could play it.